If you feel like you spend your entire week just fighting fires, you're in the right place. We're about to explore how you can become the architect of your own calm. Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful framework called the Silent Sunday Automation Audit.
Oh, you know that feeling, right? That Sunday night dread, when your mind just starts flooding with all the crises that are probably waiting for you on Monday morning. It feels like you're drowning in your inbox before the week has even begun. But what if you could use that time, not to panic, but to strategically tear down the chaos before it even has a chance to start?
This slide just nails it. It perfectly frames the two different identities you can have at work. Over on the left, you've got the fixer. They're always reacting, totally stressed out, and their main question is, who can I dump this on? They're trapped working in the system. But on the right, you have the orchestrator. They're proactive, they're calm, and they ask a much more powerful question. Wait a minute, why does this task even exist at all? They work on the system. And that one little shift in the question, well, it changes absolutely everything.
So that powerful shift is what leads us to our first big idea here, the audit mindset. This is all about changing your entire approach to your workload. You stop being a task distributor and you become more like an architect, looking at the entire machine of your team's workflow to find where you can make it better, stronger, and faster.
And this right here, this is the orchestrator's playbook. It's a beautifully simple, 4-step audit that you can apply to pretty much any task that lands on your plate. And you gotta notice that Delegate is the absolute last resort. Before you even think about giving something to a person, you first try to kill it, just get rid of it. If you can't, then you try to automate it. If you can't automate it, you turn it into a super clear, repeatable process. And only after you failed at those first 3 steps do you finally ask, okay, which person should actually do this?
Man, this call gets right to the heart of it. The ultimate productivity hack isn't just about getting more stuff done. It's about making work completely disappear. Think about it. When you eliminate a useless task, you get back 100% of the time and energy spent on it, forever. You just can't beat that return on investment.
Okay, so if we're gonna eliminate work, we need a target, right? We need something to aim for. And the source material has a great name for it: dead work. These are the tasks that give you the illusion of being productive, but in reality, they're just silently sucking the life and energy out of your team.
So let's be crystal clear on this definition. Dead work isn't just annoying stuff. It's work with zero strategic return. It's any activity that fills up the day but does absolutely nothing to move the needle on what actually matters for the business.
And oh yeah, here are some of the classics. I bet you'll recognize a few of these. First, the shadow report. You know, that weekly data spreadsheet that someone spends hours on but no one ever actually uses to make a decision. Then there's the check-in ping, those constant, hey, just checking in, messages that totally break your focus. And my personal favorite, the manual pivot. That's when a person is basically being used as human glue to copy and paste data between 2 different computer systems all day long. Just recognizing these is the first step to getting rid of them for good.
All right, so I've got the mindset, and we've identified our enemy, dead work. Now, let's get practical. How do we actually do this? We can turn this theory into practice with a really simple ritual, the Sunday 60 routine. This is your dedicated 1-hour session to proactively design a better week before it even starts. And check out how beautifully structured this hour is. First up, for 15 minutes, you review the friction log, which is just a running list of all the annoying stuff that slowed your team down last week, and you pick one small thing to fix. Then, you spend the next 15 minutes mapping out a simple automation for it. Next, you preload your AI tools with some smart prompts for Monday morning. And finally, maybe the most satisfying part, you spend 15 minutes killing unnecessary meetings. And here is a beautifully ruthless but brilliant filter for your calendar. Before you accept any meeting, you just ask yourself this one simple question. Could this whole thing be a 3-sentence email instead? If the answer is yes, you cancel it, boom, you just reclaim that precious time. It's a simple rule that can literally save you hours every single week.
Okay, but does all this stuff actually work? For real? And maybe more importantly, how do you prove its value? Well, that brings us to the payoff. Actually quantifying what's called the orchestration lift. This is how you translate all that strategic thinking into a clear, measurable return on investment. So let's take a look at a quick case study from the source material. There's this marketing team at a company called Cromvex Systems, and they were spending 40 hours, a full person week, every single week, just manually pulling together campaign reports. It was a massive time suck and, honestly, a total morale killer.
So the manager ran an automation audit. They connected their data sources to build a real-time dashboard,
And the result, as you can see right here on this chart, was just dramatic. The time they spent on reporting absolutely plummeted from 40 hours a week down to just 4. And get this, those 4 hours were now spent on actual strategic analysis, not just mindless data entry. A 90% reduction. Just let that sink in for a second. 90%. That's 36 hours of high-value, creative human brain power that they got back every single week. Time they can now spend on what actually mattered, coming up with better marketing ideas.
And the cool thing is, you can actually calculate this for your own team using this simple formula. The orchestration lift is just the annual time spent on a task before you fixed it, minus the time spent after. The result is your time saved, a super powerful metric you can use to show your value.
So in a similar example from the source, one team's fix saved them 216 hours of human work per year. Just imagine what your team could accomplish with an extra 216 hours. That is the concrete value of working on the system instead of just being trapped in it.
And really, that's what this transformation is all about. It's a shift from being a reactive musician in the orchestra, just frantically trying to keep up, to becoming the conductor. You are the one in control. You're setting the pace and making sure every single part works in harmony to create something truly exceptional.
So that brings us to our final question for today. As you look ahead to next week, don't just plan what you're going to do, plan what you're going to eliminate. What piece of dead work, what pointless meeting, what manual process are you going to kill this Sunday? The power to orchestrate a calmer, more productive week is right there for the taking.